Welcome back to Breaking the Chains, Healing from Emotional and Physical Abuse. Again, this is October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I am going to share my personal story with you all. So, hopefully, it will help victims and survivors of abuse. So, I met this guy online decades ago who proclaimed to be a great Christian guy. He did treat me right while we were dating and while we were engaged. However, after we got married, it wasn't but like a few weeks after we got married, the emotional abuse began. It was terrible. It was horrific. So, literally, nothing was going to be lost. So, I literally packed all my stuff up and I was headed back. I was going to leave him. However, back then I didn't know there was a such thing as fake apologies and Narcissist and all this because my counselor, taught me all this and I've learned about all of it. However, it was a fake apology. So he gave his fake apology and I fell for it. And he said he would never do it again. And I fell for it. And I went back to him. And I stayed married. The emotional abuse still continued. It just got worse as time went on. However, I thought if we had a child together, just hopefully, I was praying that his behavior would change. It did not. It progressed actually even worse. Then after our son was born, I still prayed and hoped. He still wasn't mentally abusive. He continued to be mentally abusive to me. Then it began like the night before I left. He was cursing out our son, which was a toddler. And that's when I drew the line. I said enough. And I knew that the best way that I would keep our child safe and me safe was to leave while he was at work. And that's what I did. Because when you are dealing with an abuser, and I had a counselor at the time, in the last 2 years of my marriage, I was very unhappy because I was mentally, physically, spiritually drained. I did everything possible to save the marriage. I had a counselor. He tried a counselor. He didn't stay with the counselor. So, that's why the marriage didn't work. Because I knew that the emotional abuse was about to turn physical. And I was not going to accept that. And I did not want our son to see his mother being beat up by his father. So I left. And I didn't want him to continue to see the emotional abuse that I was experiencing, which was horrific. So, I took our son and, we went to a safe place. And however, you still fight for justice. Even so, we're divorced and, I'm still trying to, keep my son away from that very dangerous environment. However, the judge is just very biased. And so I'm still fighting though. I'm not giving up. However, I am saying that if you're in an abusive relationship, most likely it will not change. It's just a matter of days, months, or years before their abusive behavior returns, whether it's physical or it's mental. And I know you want to make the marriage or the relationship work, especially if you have a child or children together. However, it's not worth your life. It's not worth your mental peace. It's not worth sleepless nights. It's not worth your physical health degrading. You're just filled with anxiety and depression. It's not worth none of that. Physical and mental abuse is increasing in the US. And hopefully we can put an end to it. As each of us have our story, we can share our story. We can help other victims of abuse to leave that abusive relationship. So that's all I'm saying. And I hope that my son and my story, helps other people. I've, you heal as time goes on. You heal from the wounds. You have to forgive the person, even though you don't get an apology. And so this is season 8, episode 1. And donations help my podcast to expand and produce more smoothly. Also, you all can purchase my merchandise by clicking the link in the description below. I am so grateful for each listener and each supporter of my podcast. Again, I am your host, Kelly, and the title of this episode is called A Narcissist is a Master at Fake Remorse. Again, the title of this episode is called A Narcissist is a Master at Fake Remorse. And a narcissist, again, the meaning of narcissist is a person that lacks empathy. They do not care how they hurt their partner. They only care about themselves. They're very self-centered. And they want to keep their victim or the survivor isolated from their social circle. So there is not an ounce of remorse in a narcissist during and after abusing their partner. And here are the 11 characteristics of a narcissist's fake remorse. Number 1, if a narcissist apologizes to their victim, it will be with little details. However, a narcissist rarely apologizes for his or her abusive behaviors. So here's an example from a narcissist if they apologize, which details will be very little. Again, this is an example from a narcissist. I'm sorry I hurt you. The narcissist always gives a lame apology to their victim. Number 2, a narcissist uses the shift blame technique, meaning he or she will place all blame on their victim for their abusive behavior. Example from a narcissist: if you'd done it this way, I wouldn't have hit you. The narcissist uses the shift blaming technique, so he or she will never take accountability for their abusive actions. 3, a narcissist wants their victim to forgive him or her instantly. The narcissist will tell you, I said I was sorry, so you should forgive me now. Forgiveness is a process. It takes days, weeks, months, or years for healing to take place. When a narcissist demands remorse quickly, he or she is not remorseful at all about their abusive actions. 4, a narcissist demands you to move on quickly, and he or she never wants you to bring up again their abusive behaviors. For example, a narcissist will say, we need to move past this, and when you speak about my abusive behavior, it makes me feel bad. Again, the narcissist is using the shift blaming technique by blaming you for their toxic actions. Number 5, a narcissist will promise their victim the world. He or she has no intentions of fulfilling their promises to you. He or she will make promise after promise of things they will do for you, and he or she has not kept any promises so far. and a narcissist will not come through on any of their promises. Number 6, a narcissist truly believes that his or her fake remorse deserves so much gratification from their victim. A narcissist wants attention for their fake remorse. The narcissist is still making their fake remorse about him or her. A narcissist wants their fake remorse to divert you from their abusive behaviors. Number 7, if the narcissist decides to participate one-on-one counseling, he or she will lie about all of their abusive actions to the counselor, pastor, or a therapist. A narcissist will use the gaslighting technique, the smear campaign, pathological lies, and manipulate during the entire session or sessions. 8. Also, if the narcissist decides to participate in couples therapy, he or she will change the narrative about their abusive actions to the counselor or therapist. Again, the narcissist will use the gaslighting technique, the smear campaign, pathological lies, and manipulation during the entire therapy session or sessions. Number 9, a narcissist will persuade their victim he or she has changed their abusive behaviors immediately. This is a fake performance from a narcissist because it is just a matter of time before he or she begins abusing their victim over and over. Number 10, the narcissist always plays the victim. He or she will use the crocodile tears during the fake remorse. In reality, a narcissist is never the victim. Number 11, a narcissist will try to convince their victim he or she has changed. The narcissist keeps proclaiming they will never abuse you again. This is just a manipulation tactic and pathological lying. It is just a matter of hours, days, weeks, and months before he or she abuses you again. A narcissist's fake remorse means more emotional abuse for their victim. Also, he or she is trying to manipulate you to prove he or she has changed their abusive actions. Actually, the narcissist has not changed, and he or she will not stop their abusive behaviors. Please remember to never attend counseling or therapy with a narcissist because it is a waste of your time and a waste of your money. A narcissist will go into the counseling session and he or she will not admit their abusive actions. Also, the narcissist will use the gaslighting technique, the smear campaign, pathological lies, and manipulation. A narcissist uses the fake remorse to use shift blaming so that their victim is to blame for their abusive behaviors. The narcissist will also focus on their victim's mistakes instead of focusing on their abusive actions. A narcissist will use God as a crutch, claiming God has changed me. The narcissist is not showing any Christ-like behavior. However, he or she will most likely proclaim God has made them stop their abusive actions. God does not reside in a narcissist's heart. The reason why God does not reside in a narcissist's heart, because a narcissist only cares about themselves. They do not care that they hurt, how they hurt physically, mentally, their partner. And they only care about themselves. It's all about them. It's about nobody else. So that's why God does not reside in a narcissist's heart, because he or she is consistently abusing their partner. And I'll also add this: God is love. Abuse is not love. I'm going to repeat that. Sorry, I'm going to repeat that. God is love, and abuse is not love. Again, thank you so much for listening. I am so grateful for each supporter and listener of my podcast. Donations help my podcast to expand and produce more smoothly. Also, you can purchase my merchandise by clicking the link in the description below. And I hope you all have an amazing day.